confirm that all council is here.
Alex, this is Stephanie. It sounds like you have a slight echo.
I'm talking inside the courtroom, so unfortunately the speaker in the court picks up on my microphone. The judge's audio is clean, however.
Okay, thanks.
Counsel, are you ready to proceed? I will let the judge know. Judge is on the bench.
This is CV 2020-014248, Donald J. Trump for President et al. Versus Katie Hobbs et al. This is the time set for hearing. Appearances for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Corey Langhoffer and Thomas Lucille from the plaintiffs.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We're calling to sign Kristen Yost on behalf of the Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs.
Good
afternoon, Your Honor. Thomas Liddy for Alistair Dell, Maricopa County Attorney, on behalf of the Maricopa County defendants.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sarah Gonski and Daniel Ariano on behalf of the Arizona Democratic Party.
Good afternoon. I set this hearing essentially as a status conference after I received your two filings this morning. The plaintiffs have filed a notice of partial mootness, and the government defendants have filed a notice regarding ballot counts. So I'd like to find out, in light of this additional information, what you believe the status of the matter to be. Let's start with you, Mr. Langhoffer, as counsel for the plaintiffs.
So I was hoping that the county would give us an update on the tabulations there. It's possible the two remaining races have been also mooted since our filings this morning.
All right. Mr. Liddy or Ms. Desai, do you have any information about that?
This is Mr. Liddy from the county. We just recently got off the phone with Mr. Jarrett, and the update is what we have. There were 422 ballots that have been processed and counted, and just prior to us coming into the courtroom, Your Honor, there are 10 additional UOCAVA ballots that have come in from overseas, and my understanding is that those are being processed right now, and it's possible those have also been counted. So that's a total of 432 ballots total. 422 from around the county and 10 from overseas. And those are counted and loaded in the system. And the way the system works is it saves the entire file, all 2 million ballots. And that's occurring right now, or will be shortly. And we expect to have final numbers for November 2020 by approximately 4:30. But the total universe of what we don't know is 432 throughout all of the county.
Okay, so those are all the remaining ballots. All the others have been counted.
That's correct, Your Honor. And those have also been counted. They just haven't been uploaded and reported.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Desai, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, just for clarification, that 990 number that was in the filing we made was the total number of ballots that had to be processed. But of course, many of those are provisional ballots that didn't ultimately, they're not registered voters, or there was some reason to not count those. So, that number that Mr. Liddy just provided, 432, is the whole universe of ballots that are left to be reported.
Great. Mr. Langhoffer, what would you like to say?
Well, I'm just doing a little bit of math here. It looks like that number of ballots would also move Kate McGee's race. It would just be 10 or so ballots more than would be necessary to technically move Jack Seller's race. But here's kind of what I'm thinking. Unless we have a real startling finding in those remaining 432 ballots. Jack Taylor's race will also, it will be unnecessary for a judicial ruling on that one because we won't have the number of disputed ballots or overvotes that are sort of the subject of the lawsuit won't be greater than the margin of victory or loss unless there's something really startling in those numbers. And so I would think that unless you hear otherwise from us by, say, 5 o'clock, there's no need for a judicial ruling on the issues that were submitted to you yesterday. And that'll give us time to sort of get a little bit more information from the county to be sure of that. But I'm trying to save us all week in meeting one more time to get another update from the county.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Liddy. Yes, go ahead.
I agree with Mr. Langhorne on the math for Senate District 20, where one of his clients, a registered candidate for the Senate, is behind by 495. So if highly unlikely, statistically approaching zero probability, that all 422 of the ballots from the county are all in District 28, and the 10 from overseas are also all in 28, and they all went for a candidate McGee, the delta would be 60, and that is 10 more than the recount that she would be permitted. I mean, if you gave her the 3 outstanding. So I would agree that this is moot for her, for that race. And I would, now Sellers is a little bit different because Sellers is not behind. Sellers is in the lead. And it would seem incongruous for Sellers to want to challenge what's going on, and you get things changed from the way the rules are because then he may end up losing. But even that's impossible mathematically, or highly unlikely. I mean, what are the chances that all 432 are in his one district? And that, how many overvotes does he have? 7? I believe he has 7 overvotes. In theory, if all of those went to his opponent, he could lose. I don't know if it's in his interest to do that, but I guess that's not my issue. And so I think all of them are moot. He's 9. He has 9 overvotes.
All right, and before I go back to Mr. Langhoffer, Ms. Gonski, is there anything, or Mr. Ariano, anything you'd like to say about all this?
Nothing to add to what the parties have already said, Your Honor.
Mr. Langhoffer, did you say you agree that the issues are moot as they relate to the state Senate race for Legislative District 28?
Yes.
So the only issue where they may not be moot is for County Supervisor District 1.
I think that's right. And really, we should, the odds of that, I think Mr. Liddy's description of how that would not be mooted by this final round of numbers are so long that I don't think it's worth reconvening here. So I would say maybe if we haven't, I'm just sort of wondering whether I should hedge and say, I should have a chance to get back to you, but I'm looking at my law partner here, and he's signaling to me that this is such long odds, it's not worth delaying what is inevitably the outcome with those numbers. I think we can say that the legal issues have been mooted due to the final tabulations here.
All right, so is it fair to have the minute entry reflect that counsel for plaintiffs states that the plaintiff's claims have become moot?
Correct.
Okay. Would it be, is there any objection to me ordering that the plaintiff's claims are dismissed as moot at this time?
None from the plaintiffs.
None from the Secretary.
Your Honor, I feel like Monty Hall is not going to let me open door number 3. No, there's no objection, Your Honor.
No objection from the interveners, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff's claims are dismissed as moot, therefore dismissed with prejudice. Does that resolve this matter, or are there any other issues that are left to be resolved?
No further issues from us, Your Honor.
We have no further issues, Your Honor.
No further issues on behalf of any of the county defendants, Your Honor.
Case from interview, Your Honor.
All right, so I'll have the minute entry then prepared as a 54C judgment, and I'll sign it. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is MAAP Real Talk Show. George with you as we're recording today, November 13th, 2020. We're gonna wait for the next segment, if there is one. This is, so far we thought was for the President of the United States. It wound up for the other elected officials. This is George Nemeh, MAAP Real Talk Show. We will record in the courthouse today and see what happens. So we'll keep you posted, ladies and gentlemen.